a town, because we were in villages and communities that actually had hot water, because they don't have hot water. They don't have the luxuries of sewer. They don't have the luxuries of a lot of the things that we have. Windows with closure. Some didn't have electricity. And this is not just because a hurricane just hit. This is their reality. But the one thing that got to me in the very beginning was I saw these children, and I'm like, I had a misconception because I thought I was going to a third world country that was poor. I said, they don't look poor. I mean, my grandchildren someday, you know what I'm saying? They didn't look poor. And he's like, well, what describe poor? And I'm like, I don't know, dirty, nasty, filthy, torn clothes. That's my reality. And he said, just wait. And I realized that they were clean because they washed and but they were still poor, but they didn't, I don't know. It's not because they had money to buy. These were clothes, I think, a lot of them that had been donated over different people like us coming in. But families took care of families and communities took care of communities is what I saw in that village, and pictures will come. And the other thing that really got to me, because I did see the poor, we went to the dump, and the dump was the landfill, except huge. It was huge. And these children, when trucks would come in to empty their trash, it was like Christmas time. And we have video. They were, ecstatic, screaming, jumping, excited. They would jump on the back of the trucks, and they would get out food and drink that had been half eaten or drunk, and they would drink it and eat it. And this is where they lived. And so we not only gave them food, we gave them meals that we had prepared, we gave them food bags that didn't have to be cooked per se, but we gave them the gospel. So it's not just about handing people some food. Even here, we need to be spreading the gospel and telling people about Jesus, because they wanted to hear what we had to say sometimes more than what we were giving them in a food bag. They were hungry for it. And I just thank you for the opportunity. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm going back. So hopefully somebody else want to go. Now I know what we need to prepare, because you don't know until you've been what they need. But we did medical clinics. Y'all, these people, they don't even have the money to go to the doctor. And if they can't afford the medicine. And people are, and I know why there's not a lot of old people in those communities, because they die, because they don't have what we have, and we are blessed. So it changed me, because I tell you what, if there's a little storm coming up or there's a little bit of rain, these people walk for miles to come to our clinic, because it was unsafe at one point for us to go to them, and they didn't have a problem coming. So I need to get out of my comfort zone, because I don't have it. I've got it good, and yes, I have too much stuff. So I'm going to get rid of some stuff, because that also can hinder our witness and how we feel, because we don't have time for Jesus sometimes, because I need to be doing this. All of this doesn't matter. So thank you.
Y'all notice I showed great restraint when she said she was going to get rid of stuff. I didn't say amen. I did. That took a lot. Of course, I just got to make sure I ain't some of the stuff she gets rid of. Amen. Deuteronomy chapter 28. I think we're going to be here for the next couple of weeks. I think it's really important. When we get on further into chapter 30 and 31, it's called the Palestinian Covenant. And you can read ahead if you'd like to look at that. And so I can't get through everything I want to get through today. Buster said I needed to quit by 1 o'clock because there was a storm today. So I'm going to try to ease her down. But do you like to be blessed? I mean, most people like to be blessed. We want good health. We want a place to stay. Some of the things she was talking about that we take so for granted. And the luxuries of life are good, but that's not the real blessing, okay? That's not blessing. It's part of it, and we're going to read that. But the true blessings of life is being in a right relationship with God. And knowing that whether you go or whether you stay, you're a winner either way. If I die today, am I going to be worse off or better off? I'm going to be better off, okay? And so I understand that. And so it is my desire to live for the Lord and serve the Lord and to be obedient to Him, and that should be your desire. But there are consequences for disobedience. There are consequences. And so as we share the gospel with people, they need to understand that there's consequences. And our salvation is just not given. And hold off, don't freak out. It's just not given. And so if everybody on planet Earth died today, would they go to heaven? No. And you say, well, who made you a judge? Right? Well, what do you mean they won't go to heaven? Well, we know that you must be born again. You have to be born again. How imperative is it? Jesus told Nicodemus, ye must be born again. Okay, so it's a must. You must be born again. So there has to be a change. There has to be a surrender, a giving, a acceptance of what God has provided through Christ in salvation and through salvation. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Old Testament, and we're going to look at that same difference, that same ebb and flow, if you would, and then we're going to look at the consequences of the ebb and flow if it's not there. So we know that God loved Israel and He chose them out, and we haven't got to the point where we just got through with the point of Abraham and all that as we went through Genesis. And now we've got the law that has been dispersed to the children of Israel, but they are at the precipice of going into the promised land. It's taken them far longer to get there, and it's because of sin and murmuring and complaining, being hard-headed and stiff-necked. They would already be enjoying the goodness of God if it weren't for their sin and their failure. So they can't blame God for it because God had them ready to go. They can only identify it for themselves. And so you and I, if we're not in a right relationship with God, you can't blame the preacher. I know you'd like to, but you can't, right? Because everybody's got a Bible, right? And everybody can pray, right? And so if there's a problem between you and God, it's your fault, not my fault, not somebody else's fault. It's yours, and you have to take ownership of it. And you have to say, I'm either going to serve the Lord or I'm not, okay? And so my prayer is that we identify how good we have it with God, and that we want to be obedient to Him day in and day out, not just today. Not just today. It's not a one-time thing, right? We look at our salvation experience as at this time and place, this certain time, this certain place, I accepted Jesus, bam, that was it. Well, that's true as far as being saved. But the thing about being saved, it's a continual process until we're all the way in glory, okay? So it's not that you have to work for your salvation. It's trusting every day, picking up your cross every day, following Him, serving Him, living a life that proves what happened on that one day, okay? That happened on that one day. So chapter 28, and it shall come to pass if, that two-letter word is big, isn't it? Isn't that big? If. Son, you can go out with your friends Saturday if the grass has been cut, the dishes have been washed, and all that. Now, if you've washed the dishes and Hank took out the trash, guess what? You ain't going. I've got a list of stuff for you to do, and if you want to do this, I'm going to allow you to do it,